One. Hello, guys. Welcome to the J2 Crypto Code. If you're interested in cryptocurrency, you found the right spot. Please like, subscribe, and comment to my videos. I've recently been on YouTube for about a month and a half now, and I'm currently at 100 and 50, 60 subscribers from the informative information that I've been putting out on this current cycle. In this video, I wanted to release an emergency video just because, in the time we're in specifically, I think it's important to talk about why there's so much stagnation and why the market is essentially at a hole right now, specifically around the importance of the M2 money supply with Bitcoin and how all of that in totality is correlated with one another. So I want to give you guys some really good descriptive information about that. And we're going to jump into my PowerPoint presentation now. So right now, guys, I am still currently using my DCA strategy that I've been implementing since the start of 2023. I think it's really important to continue DCAing while prices are on sale. Most altcoins have dropped 60, 70%. Bitcoin has dropped about 30%. So we all know that if Bitcoin is going to do a major drop, altcoins are basically going to drop double. So you've seen that 33% drop on Bitcoin, and now you're seeing at least 50 to 70% drops on all altcoins and meme coins as well. So the M2 money to global liquidity is extremely important during the process of this cycle, and it's something that you guys need to be monitoring. But I'm going to give you and tell you the importance of it. So obviously, Bitcoin is a global asset, and its price is strongly correlated with the M2 global money supply and its overall liquidity, not just the monetary policy. Despite all the misconceptions out there, right? People believe that it's correlated with this. People believe that Bitcoin is correlated with that. This is dead accurate, right? And the global M2 line reflects the actual data that has occurred and not future projections. So in the chart that I'm going to show you, you're going to see how data is already aligned with where we're going to go in this particular cycle. And it's been dead accurate since the bottom where Bitcoin was pretty much at the 15 to 25,000 mark, right when we touched the halving period, and right where we are now. You're going to see how well this thing is correlated. And the data is already correlated in. It gives us the ability to move forward and see how we're going to play this market moving forward. So as you can see, this line here, the gray line that's Bitcoin. The blue line is the M2 money supply line, right? Global liquidity money supply line, right? And this is extremely important to understand and see this chart. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, in my opinion. It has not been off. It has not, been inaccurate. You guys have to understand that, okay, Trump is implementing and enforcing all these different strategies on cryptocurrency as a whole. We got the crypto reserve that's already been established. I talked about that in the past video. We have, upcoming Fed meetings that are obviously going to be extremely important from a quantitative easy standpoint. Are we going to be able to slow that down? We have employment data coming through. We have inflation data coming through. All different kinds of analytical data points that people think things are correlated with. Yes, they play some particular role, absolutely, but liquidity is the main thing we need in this cycle. In my past video, I'm projecting us to get to a $5 to $7 trillion market cap, and we're approximately 1.5 to 2 trillion dollars away from that low end. Which you guys go look at some math. You guys go do some data. Go look at some data and do some math on the percentage of what an altcoin will be and what that particular price may be if Bitcoin hits a particular price. If you have been invested from the bottoms, or you've been invested in phase one or phase two, I call, of the market, you're going to make a lot of profit and life-changing gains. Once this right here, once we bottom out, which I think we bottom out, maybe we have a little bit more to go in May. Once this happens and we take off, we're going to get rich. And it's just that simple. If you put a good amount of money in here, I'm not talking about $500. I'm not even talking about $1,000. For the people, I always tell people to start with $1,000. You can turn $1,000 to $10,000, to maybe anywhere between $7,000 to $15,000. You can do that in this short time frame that we're talking about here. But if you've invested $5,000 to $10,000 more, personally, I've invested 50. We're going to make a lot of money and we're going to make life-changing gains. And this is what my specific channel is about. 10 grand can help somebody, 20 grand can help somebody, but that's not life-changing. So we need to make life-changing gains, and having that ability to stay patient, having that ability to look ahead and ignore the noise, ignore the crowd, ignore the negativity, right? You're going to have a lot of people giving BS negativity about this market. Ignore that, stay focused, stay locked in on your plan, have faith in God, and have faith that, historically things align and we're going to continue to do what we've always done. You have to go through the fire, right, to get to where you want to be in life. You have to do what you want to do so you don't do what you got to do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. And I want to do things and I need to make money to do things that I want to do. So we're going to get there. Remain patient, keep buying. You know what I mean? I personally wouldn't prefer, I'm going to be very transparent here. I just tried to implement some trading strategy where I just lost $1,000, right? I could have put that $1,000 on a coin and, you know what I mean, and just use my DCA strategy and just ride this thing up. But I just lost $1,000, right? For trying to be greedy and go 7 to 10x longs on a particular coin, to where during this particular period where we're in the accumulation phase, guys, this is what I think. You don't have to agree. You should be implementing really um, short-term type of shorts in a market that that's like not extremely how can I say it? It's not to the point where you're going to be heavily dependent on those shorts to make you money. You're not going to be able to depend on those longs to make you money. You need to remain calm as possible. You need to allocate your money correctly to go where we need to go. So I wouldn't be so invested on trading at this particular time during the accumulation standpoint. I would be using a DCA strategy because it's always going to work at the end. When we get here, or even when we get here, you're going to be happy that you did that. So let me just talk about next the importance of the time frames coming up, right? So obviously, liquidity injections don't instantly hit the assets like Bitcoin or anything like that. They lag for 2 months, right? So we got to get this time for some things to play out, which means the liquidity has been going in March, April, or even the start of April and going into May. But as soon as June comes here, based off that, we know what we're going to do, right? So looking at my time frames, May 2025, the start of M2 driven Bitcoin surge. May to June 2025, we're going to have a strong uptrend phase, right? To where I think where if you were in the specific point where we were in December, right, where this happened. I've mentioned this in my past videos, right? I have the ability to predict the markets. We're going to go right there again during the start of July. Then we're going to, and during this time period, like I said, my portfolio was at about $80,000 at this particular point right here, the Q4 last year. So I know that's going to come back. I've invested even more. We're going to see six figures during this time period, right? And then right here, this is where life-changing gains happen. And this is when I see altcoin season happening from July all the way to the start of September. And at that point, I'm going to exit the market. So you will see things start to climb there. So for the past 3 consecutive days, I would say a month because I created this a minute ago. We've seen global M2 as a at its highest point ever. This is a crucial signal because once it shows that it has sustained and it kind of plateaued, that means we're going to continue bullish conditions. We're going to avoid any major dips in the cycle. So we're going to trend sideways. We may get some 10% dips, things like that, but the worst has happened, guys. The worst has happened, and then we're going to move forward. So if you went and watched my last video, um, this is something that I developed. This was a strategy that I developed, and this is obviously my strategy and my exit strategy and things like that. Because personally, do I hold Bitcoin? Not really, but I hold lots of Ethereum, and as you know, Ethereum triggers altcoins, and that's how we're going to get rich. So at the start of this, I drew this out right, like I mentioned before in the month of March, this is pretty much where we were. Bitcoin was at 85,000 pretty much, and Ethereum dropped to 2,000. And during this time period, that's when I implemented and did that dumbass trade. And Ethereum broke a little bit under that. It actually broke to about 1,700. Then I'm predicting, you know, I was predicting that, on this surge, we're going to get a nice little surge to 95K of Bitcoin right before the next upcoming Fed meeting, because I think a lot of people are going to get bullish about um, Chairman Powell dropping rates. And this strategy is kind of based on if he doesn't drop rates. You know what I mean? If he doesn't drop rates, we're going to go up, right? And we're going to crash down, and we're going to be stagnant until the next Fed meeting, where we're going to be trending upward during that anticipation of the next Fed meeting on June 18th. And then I think we're going to skyrocket from that point onward. So the M2 money supply is pretty much saying the same thing that I'm saying. Um, it's pretty much saying the same thing that in regards to the strategy that I've implemented. It's pretty much saying the same thing, but it's not always super accurate, like to the exact point, but it's damn near accurate from a macro standpoint, and then obviously long term. So this is my strategy, guys, moving forward. You know what I mean? And I was keep buying, right? And I'm going to show you why you should keep buying, right? Look at the market. Let's just take a look at a lot of the coins right now. Our fear and greed index is at 32. You know, when there's red in the market, you should be buying, right? Look at all of the coins that are on sale, guys. There's an extreme amount of coins. And like I've always say, I wouldn't buy anything that doesn't have utility, and that's not in the top 50 to 100 coins. So that's going to be extremely important. Everything's on sale right now. You know what I mean? Um, Cardano, one of my favorite coins this cycle. I don't care what nobody says. It's one of my favorite coins in the Bitcoin reserve. I think we're going to get to $5-6, right? $5 to $7, right? Look at that pump that we had, right? Look at the pump that we had in Q4 of last year, and we've dropped. We were at $1.30 basically, and we're at half of the price. So, like I said, if you want to take advantage of the opportunity, guys, and make a lot of money, this is your last chance. I provided the proof, I provided the data, I provided the charts to show you this. If you want to buy Bitcoin Cash, right? If you can't buy Bitcoin, I see Bitcoin Cash going to about 15, anywhere from 1,000 to $2,000 in this cycle. Look at where we are. Look at where we are compared to where we were. It was at $630 and it's dropped half of the price. Why would you not get in if you want to make money? You know what I mean? Um, let's look at ICP. You know what I mean? I think ICP going to go anything anywhere between $100 to $175 a share. We're at $4. Look at where we were not too long ago. We were at $15 and we're at $4. Like, it's like the opportunity is there. I don't want to hear anybody complaining or saying I didn't have it, because once we go up, oh my gosh, it's too high. And you've had a great opportunity. You've had a lifetime opportunity to buy. And you're not going to be able to blame nobody but yourself because you didn't make money. Because this cycle, this period right here that's getting ready to happen over this next 4 to 6 months, this is not coming back. So you need to this is not coming back, and it won't be as strong. I particularly think this is the super cycle. And you know, this series and this whole entire 4-year cycle isn't even going to come back. We're going to crash after this. So, Aave, extremely great token. You know, we were at $400 basically, and we're at $138. And I see Aave, I see Aave going to 1,000, anywhere from $700 to $1,000 this cycle. So, you put $1,000 into this coin right here, you'll have 8 shares and you'll make $8,000 basically. So it's like the choice is yours. Stocks are not going to provide you the ability to appreciate money like cryptocurrency does in this short of a time frame. So the choice is yours, guys. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much all I wanted to show. That's all I have for today. You know what I mean? Please take advantage of the opportunity that you have to buy. And like I always say, I want to create a sense of community and people that care and want to change lives. And if you're simply not here to do that, you know, take that negativity somewhere else. And this is not the channel for you. So like, subscribe, comment. This is J2 Crypto Code, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.